It is May 1941. 1 year after Dunkirk, Britain stands alone. The Atlantic is her lifeline, a thin thread of convoys carrying food, fuel, and weapons across 3,000 miles of open ocean. Sever that thread, and Britain starves. Adolf Hitler knows this. And so, in the spring of 1941, the Kriegsmarine launches Operation Rhine exercise, Rheinübung. 2 warships will sail into the Atlantic and tear that lifeline apart. The flagship is Bismarck. At over 50,000 tons fully loaded, with 8 15-inch guns and armor belt nearly 13 inches thick, she is the largest, most powerful warship Germany has ever built. Her crew numbers over 2,200 men. Her designers have called her unsinkable. At the helm of this mission stands Vice Admiral Günther Lütjens, 51 years old, precise, humorless, and utterly without illusion. He has already led 2 successful Atlantic raids. He knows the odds. At the pier in Gottenhofen, he refuses to raise his arm in the Nazi salute when Hitler comes to inspect the fleet. He shakes the Führer's hand instead, a small act of quiet defiance that no one forgets. On the 18th of May, Bismarck and the heavy cruiser Prinz Eugen slip out of the Baltic. The hunt has begun, though not yet the hunt Britain imagines. The Royal Navy knows something. Large is moving north. Aerial reconnaissance spots the ships in a Norwegian fjord. Within hours, Admiral John Tovey in London puts every available vessel on alert. Cruisers Suffolk and Norfolk are sent to watch the Denmark Strait, the narrow, ice-choked passage between Iceland and Greenland. On the night of the 23rd of May, through fog and freezing rain, Suffolk's radar picks up 2 blips. She radios back. Enemy in sight. The chase is on. Britain sends its most powerful response. HMS Hood, the pride of the Royal Navy. A 30-year-old battlecruiser that is faster than a battleship but armored like a cruiser. Alongside her sails the brand new battleship HMS Prince of Wales. So new that civilian technicians are still working on her gun turrets when she leaves port. Vice Admiral Lancelot Holland orders an aggressive intercept. He wants the range closed fast. The closer they are, the harder it is for German shells to plunge down through Hood's thin deck armor. At 5:52 in the morning of the 24th of May, the 2 fleets open fire. The battle lasts 8 minutes. Bismarck's 5th salvo walks directly onto Hood. A shell, or shells, plunges through her deck and detonates the aft ammunition magazine. There is a flash of light that men 40 miles away can see. Then a column of fire and smoke rises thousands of feet into the gray sky. When it clears, HMS Hood is gone. 3 men survive from a crew of 1 E-415. On Bismarck's bridge, Lütjens watches. He does not celebrate.
The Hood is sunk.
He turns back to the chart table.
We sail on.
The shock across Britain is unlike anything the war has yet produced. Hood was not just a ship, she was a symbol. For 20 years, she had shown the flag around the world. Now, she lies in 9,000 feet of water in the Denmark Strait. Churchill's order to the entire Royal Navy is 4 words: sink the Bismarck. But Bismarck herself has not escaped unharmed. 2 shells from Prince of Wales have struck her. One has ruptured a forward fuel tank, leaving a long slick of oil across the sea. She is leaking 1,000 tons of fuel. Lütjens makes a decision: abort the Atlantic raid, sail for the French port of Saint-Nazaire for repairs. The North Atlantic becomes a net. Lütjens detaches Prince Eugen and turns southwest. Behind him, the entire home fleet is converging. Battleships, cruisers, destroyers, aircraft carriers. HMS King, George V, HMS Rodney, HMS Victorious. Force H, racing up from Gibraltar. Dozens of ships, hundreds of aircraft. For 30 hours, Suffolk and Norfolk track Bismarck by radar, radioing her position every half hour. Then, in the pre-dawn darkness of the 25th of May, Lutyens makes a sharp course change. The radar blips vanish. Bismarck disappears. For 31 agonizing hours, the Royal Navy loses her entirely. Then Lutyens makes his fatal mistake. At 9 in the morning of the 24th, believing he has shaken his pursuers, he transmits a long radio message to Berlin. A status report, a weather report, a commentary on the battle. It takes 30 minutes to send. British direction-finding stations triangulate the signal. The position is plotted on Admiralty charts. Bismarck is heading for France. It is almost too late. She is nearly within range of Luftwaffe air cover. The destroyers chasing her are running low on fuel, but one asset remains: the aged Swordfish torpedo biplanes of HMS Royal, flying through 50-foot seas and gale force winds. At 8:47 in the evening of the 26th of May, 15 Swordfish take off from Royal in weather so violent that the flight deck is pitching 60 feet between rolls. They are biplanes, fabric-covered. They fly at 90 knots. And they are going to attack the most heavily armed ship in the German Navy. Most of their torpedoes miss or are duds, but 2 find their mark. The second torpedo strikes Bismarck at the stern, directly at her rudder. The damage is catastrophic. Both rudders are jammed at 15 degrees to port. Every attempt to steer is defeated. The great ship begins to steam in slow, helpless circles, directly into the oncoming British fleet. Through the night, Polish destroyers of the 4th Flotilla harry her with torpedoes, keeping her crew awake, wearing them down. Bismarck fires back through the darkness. She hits nothing. No one can reach her yet. The heavy ships are waiting for dawn. In the radio room, Lutyens composes his final signal to Berlin.
Ship is unmaneuverable. We fight to the last
No reply
shell.
comes.
Long live the Fuhrer.
At 8:47 on the morning of the 27th of May, HMS Rodney and HMS King George V open fire at a range of 12 miles. Bismarck returns fire. Her first salvo nearly straddles Rodney. Her second falls short. Her third salvo is the last to land anywhere near a British ship. Within minutes, British shells begin to destroy her fire control systems, her rangefinders, her turrets, one by one. For over 90 minutes, Bismarck is pounded without mercy. She burns. She lists. She does not sink. The British cruiser Dorsetshire closes to finish the job with torpedoes. At 10:36 in the morning, Bismarck rolls to port and slides beneath the North Atlantic, taking more than 2,100 men with her. Dorsetshire and the destroyer Maori pull 115 survivors from the freezing water before a reported U-boat contact forces them to leave. Among the dead, Vice Admiral Gunther Lutyens. He has not survived to see France. Whether Bismarck was finally sunk by British torpedoes or scuttled by her own crew, flooding charges set by surviving engineers, remains a question that the deep ocean keeps in silence. What is not in question? In 8 days, the Royal Navy mobilized nearly the entire Atlantic fleet to hunt and destroy one ship, and the Bismarck never broke a single convoy route. The lifeline held. If this story stayed with you, subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Because 6 months after her Swordfish crippled the Bismarck, HMS Royal herself was sent to the bottom by a single torpedo from a single U-boat in the Mediterranean. And her crew never believed their ship could die. She helped sink the Bismarck. 6 months later, a single torpedo sent her to the bottom. The story of HMS Royal, next.